Robert Kiyosaki, renowned author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, shares the valuable lessons he learned from his rich dad, a mentor who guided him on his journey toward true wealth and financial freedom. Unlike the traditional advice of his poor dad, who believed that financial security came from a good job and a fixed salary, his rich dad encouraged him to seek alternative paths to achieve financial freedom, paths that involved building businesses and making strategic investments. Kiyosaki explains the importance of changing the mindset regarding work and money, highlighting the fundamental difference between working for security and working for freedom and purpose. He introduces the concept of the cash flow quadrant, a tool that divides methods of wealth generation into 4 categories: employees, self-employed, business owners, and investors, and shows how the choices we make regarding this quadrant define our financial future. From his teachings, Kiyosaki reveals the key to true prosperity: building something lasting, like a business, that can be passed down from generation to generation, instead of relying on the illusion of a secure job. He also highlights the power of real estate as a strategic tool to create passive cash flow and generate wealth without relying on high taxes. More than that, he challenges listeners to overcome the fear and mental limitations that keep them on the left side of the quadrant, the side of illusory security, and to take control of their own lives by creating and investing wisely. In this context, Kiyosaki invites us to reflect on our own financial and professional choices and asks us, which side of the quadrant do you choose to occupy? The choice between security and freedom, between fear and growth, is what will determine the course of our financial and personal lives. Robert Kiyosaki, in the video Own Assets and Never Work Again, shares his vision of how financial and professional choices can either lead someone to wealth or keep them stuck in the constant struggle for survival. According to him, most people are trapped in a cycle of hard work and constant saving, often without realizing that they are saving in something that constantly loses value: the dollar. He criticizes the idea of saving a currency that governments continuously print, making it less and less valuable. This concept leads Kiyosaki to question the wisdom of the traditional system of working for a fixed salary and seeking security in a job, something his father, known as Poor Dad, always preached. Kiyosaki argues that true wealth does not come from job security, but from the creation and acquisition of assets. His rich dad taught him early on that, instead of seeking a stable job, it is smarter to work toward acquiring assets, that is, building businesses and investing in things that generate money, such as real estate. He makes a clear distinction between the mindset of those who seek security and those who seek financial freedom. The cash flow quadrant is a central tool in Kiyosaki's thinking, which divides wealth-generating methods into 4 distinct quadrants. Employee, E. People who trade their time for money, seeking a fixed salary and benefits. This mentality is based on the idea of job security. Self-employed, S. Small business owners or freelancers who, although they work for themselves, also trade time for money. The difference here is that they have more control over what they do, but they are still limited by the amount of work they can do. Business owner, B. Large-scale business owners, such as Bill Gates or the founders of giants like Google, Facebook, and Apple. They have systems and teams running their businesses, and their companies can grow without their constant presence. Investor, I. People who invest their money to generate more money. They do not depend on their daily work to earn. They rely on their investment decisions. They know how to use money to make more money, such as in real estate or stock buying. The major difference between the quadrants lies in the core values that drive each group. Kiyosaki's poor dad, with his belief in security, thought that working hard to secure a steady job was the way to go. On the other hand, rich dad believed in creating businesses, investing, and seeking financial freedom. To him, job security did not exist, as one could be fired at any time. He argued that true security lies in the ability to generate income autonomously and on a scalable level. Kiyosaki emphasizes that true wealth comes from creating passive cash flow, where the initial work, although hard, leads to a point where revenues begin to flow automatically, without the need for constant physical presence. Real estate, for example, is an area where Kiyosaki started his financial journey. He learned that contrary to what many think, debts can be used to one's advantage as a tool to create wealth, as long as they are managed wisely. He warns about the fear that many people have of investing and making bold financial decisions. Most people start but give up early because they do not know how to deal with fear or uncertainty. This happens because, when it comes to getting rich, fear is the primary barrier. People become paralyzed and prefer to continue trading their hours for money, complaining about difficulties instead of seeking solutions. Kiyosaki also addresses the idea that the wealthy know how to protect their wealth from taxes, while most ordinary people continue to pay more than they should. He points out that the financial and banking system needs the wealthy, not the other way around. Wealth creates jobs and drives the economy. Therefore, the rich not only have money, but they also have influence over the system that sustains the economy. The central reflection in the video is, which quadrant do you choose? He suggests that by choosing a path, whether as an employee or as an investor, you are accepting the limitations of that path. Choosing the investor or business owner quadrant is a conscious choice to break free from the cycle of exchanging time for money and to seek something greater. Kiyosaki criticizes the complacency of people who, when they get fired, revolt and blame the system without realizing that their choices, to seek job security instead of learning how to generate wealth, were responsible for their situation. Finally, Kiyosaki challenges the audience to step out of their comfort zones and take responsibility for their choices. He states that life is made up of choices and that most people are unwilling to face the challenges and fears that arise when they decide to pursue a different path. The fear of failure prevents many from seeking opportunities, but it is exactly behind that fear that lies what they desire most: financial freedom. Kiyosaki concludes with the idea that to change your reality, you need to change your mindset and actions. Continuing to do the same thing will result in the same outcomes. If you want to achieve something different, you need to make different decisions and act with courage. True change starts with choosing which quadrant you will inhabit and how you will work to transform your financial life. Robert Kiyosaki shares a profound lesson from his rich dad, a mentor who guided him on how to achieve true wealth. Kiyosaki recalls a crucial piece of advice his rich dad gave him. If you really want to be rich, learn to build businesses. He explained that unlike simply ensuring a prosperous life for oneself, true wealth lies in creating something lasting, something that can be passed down through generations. Wealth is not just about securing your own financial safety. It's about building a legacy that benefits not only you, but also those who come after you. Meanwhile, his poor dad advised him to work hard, seek the security of a stable job, and fight for a steady paycheck. However, Rich Dad questioned this concept, challenging Kiyosaki to reflect on the true nature of job security. He asked, "Why are you working for a security that, in the end, never existed?" To Rich Dad, the idea that a job provides security was an illusion. He viewed life through a different lens. While most people were focused on the pursuit of stability, he saw true freedom and wealth in creating and owning a business, as well as learning to invest. The major difference between these two mindsets is what Kiyosaki refers to as the cash flow quadrant. The quadrant is a representation of 4 ways to make money, reflecting very distinct values and behaviors. On the left side of the quadrant, you have employees and self-employed individuals. Both exchange their time for money. The employee seeks security and stability, while the self-employed seeks to be their own boss but still depends on their own labor to generate income. These two groups are limited because their earnings are directly tied to the time they dedicate to work. On the right side of the quadrant, however, are business owners and investors. They don't directly exchange their time for money. They create systems that work for them or make investments that generate passive income. The business owner builds a structure that can grow without their constant presence, while the investor uses money to make more money, seeking assets that provide consistent returns. For Kiyosaki, true wealth comes from the right side of the quadrant, where people don't seek security or a fixed salary, but freedom, purpose, and growth. When you do something with passion, purpose, and love, the flow of energy and abundance becomes natural. He explains that things done with true commitment and intention have a power that overflows, generating wealth and opportunities beyond just money. The beauty of building a business and learning to invest lies in the fact that in the long term, it can become passive. You dedicate the first years, which may be the hardest, to building a solid foundation, but once your passive cash flow is established, you start living more peacefully, focused not on surviving, but on thriving. Number 2 on Kiyosaki's list is real estate. His rich dad taught him to invest in this sector, which, according to him, offers a significant advantage. You can build wealth efficiently and often without paying heavy taxes. Kiyosaki also talks about the choice of which quadrant you want to occupy. He challenges the idea that ignorance of the quadrants is an excuse for failure. Many people may claim they never knew about the quadrants, but he argues that with a little interest, anyone could have informed themselves, read business books, or even tried to understand how wealth is generated. The truth is, many prefer to ignore what might be uncomfortable or challenging. This kind of thinking often creates mental obstacles, where people try to justify their choices and limiting beliefs. Kiyosaki emphasizes that life is a series of choices. Every choice we make puts us in a specific quadrant, and it is from this that consequences arise. When someone chooses the security of a job, for example, they are accepting the limitations of that path, but they cannot complain about the difficulties that arise. Losing a job, for instance, should not be seen as an injustice, but as a consequence of a past choice, the choice to follow the left side of the quadrant. The crucial point here is that many people fail to see things this way. They don't realize that by making choices based on fear and the search for security, they are limiting their own possibilities. Kiyosaki insists that fear is the main barrier to success, and everything you desire is actually on the other side of that fear. He challenges you to step out of your comfort zone. Stop following the path everyone else follows, because if you keep doing the same thing, you will get the same results. He concludes with a provocation. Which side of the quadrant do you choose? If you stay on the left side, exchanging your time for money and seeking an illusory security, then you are limited to that cycle. But if you choose the right side, seeking to create, invest, and generate freedom, your future will be entirely different. Kiyosaki reminds us that, in the end, the responsibility is ours. What you choose today will shape your life tomorrow. Throughout his journey, Robert Kiyosaki presents us with a deep reflection on what it truly means to achieve financial freedom. In his words, most people live trapped in a cycle of constant work in search of security and stability. This is an idea rooted in our society, fueled by the belief that a good job, with benefits and a fixed salary, is the path to success and financial peace of mind. However, Kiyosaki reveals a radically different view on how wealth is built and how people's mindsets need to change in order to truly achieve prosperity. The main lesson Kiyosaki shares is the difference between the thinking of his rich dad and his poor dad. His poor dad believed that hard work in a secure, stable job was the key to achieving a financially secure life, while rich dad, on the other hand, advocated that true wealth comes from knowing how to build a business and invest wisely. The lesson he teaches is clear. Working for a fixed salary and hoping for promotions or benefits is a limited and often failed strategy. Financial security, as many believe, is an illusion because the job market is unpredictable, and any job can be replaced or lost at any time. Instead, Kiyosaki guides us to work for something bigger: freedom, purpose, and passion. He teaches us that to truly achieve wealth, we need to go beyond the search for security and start thinking like entrepreneurs and investors. This requires continuous work, but not just a temporary effort to pay the bills. It's a strategic effort to build something that lasts over time, that generates passive cash flow, and that can be passed down to future generations. The secret to true prosperity is understanding that wealth doesn't come from a single paycheck, but from the ability to create and invest wisely. The concept of the cash flow quadrant that Kiyosaki presents to us is key to understanding the different ways of generating wealth. This quadrant divides people into 4 categories: employees, self-employed, business owners, and investors. Each of these groups operates differently, and how people manage their financial lives has a direct impact on their success. People on the left side of the quadrant, such as employees and self-employed individuals, work to earn money but are still limited by the time they can dedicate to work. They are stuck in a constant cycle of exchanging time for money, which means in the long run they cannot scale their wealth or create true financial freedom. On the right side of the quadrant, however, business owners and investors seek freedom and autonomy. They build systems, businesses, and sources of passive income that allow them to live beyond their own limitations. The beauty of becoming an entrepreneur or investor, according to Robert Kiyosaki, lies in the ability to gain greater control over one's own destiny over time. These two positions allow a person to build something meaningful that, over time, generates passive wealth. That is, without the need to continue trading hours of work for money. Unlike an employee who, no matter how hard they work, cannot increase their earnings without sacrificing more time and effort, entrepreneurs and investors have the opportunity to create systems that will eventually run independently, generating profits without the need for constant direct involvement. This is one of the great advantages of those who venture into building a business or learning to invest, the ability to generate wealth without being tied to the daily grind of work. Although the beginning of this journey requires significant effort, sacrifice, and often facing failures, the hard work in the first years can turn into one of the most rewarding experiences of life. The process of building a business or learning to invest can be challenging and full of obstacles, but it is this challenge that paves the way for a much more comfortable and financially stable future. Kiyosaki emphasizes that, although the first years can be difficult, the reward that comes with generating passive cash flow, that is, revenue that continues to come in without you having to actively keep working, brings a type of financial freedom that a fixed salary could never offer. Over time, decisions made wisely can result in a much richer life, both financially and personally. Among the wealth-building strategies Kiyosaki suggests, real estate plays a central role. He states that investing in real estate not only offers an excellent opportunity to generate wealth, but also allows investors to minimize taxes effectively. This is because the tax system offers incentives for those who invest in real estate, allowing them to deduct property-related expenses and take advantage of long-term appreciation. Additionally, buying and selling real estate and managing properties can create sources of passive income, which is particularly attractive for those seeking long-term financial independence. However, real estate is just one of several strategies Kiyosaki proposes for wealth building. The crucial point he highlights is the importance of using debt intelligently. While many people see debt as something negative, Kiyosaki believes that, when used strategically, debt can become a powerful tool for wealth creation. Unlike the popular idea of avoiding debt at all costs, Kiyosaki teaches that it is possible to use credit and financing wisely to increase the earning potential of an investment. By learning to use resources efficiently, people can accelerate their path to financial freedom. To apply these strategies effectively, Kiyosaki stresses the importance of solid financial education. What truly separates the rich from the poor is not how much they earn, but how much they know about how money works and how it can be leveraged to generate more money. True wealth does not come from simply earning money, but from understanding how to use it so that it works for you. It is this knowledge, acquired through financial education, that allows investors and entrepreneurs to create systems that generate passive income, protecting them from the ups and downs of the economy and giving them greater control over their financial future. The greatest barrier people face in their pursuit of financial freedom, according to Kiyosaki, is fear. Fear of failure, fear of taking risks, and fear of stepping out of their comfort zone are the greatest obstacles people face when they decide to leave the security of a steady job and explore new financial paths. Many people, out of fear, prefer to remain in their work routines, even if it means being stuck in an endless cycle of effort with no significant reward. They have been conditioned to believe that security comes from the stability of a job, and that any attempt to take a risk or change direction would threaten their peace of mind. Kiyosaki challenges this view by stating that true freedom lies on the other side of fear. According to him, it is by facing and overcoming fear that you will find success, financial freedom, and personal growth. The courage to act, even in the face of fear, is what can turn a simple dream of financial freedom into a tangible reality. Furthermore, Kiyosaki offers a deep and fundamental reflection on personal responsibility, an essential lesson for anyone seeking true success. In his teachings, he asserts that the choice of where you place yourself in the cash flow quadrant is entirely up to you. The way you position your life financially, whether on the left or right side of the quadrant, will shape your future, and the choices you make today will have a significant impact in the coming years. The quadrant, as Kiyosaki describes it, is a simple but powerful representation of the different ways to generate wealth, divided into two sides, the left side and the right side. On the left side of the quadrant are people who, in one way or another, exchange their time for money. This includes employees who work for a fixed salary and self-employed individuals who, even though they are their own bosses, still need to dedicate significant time to providing services and getting paid for it. On the other hand, on the right side of the quadrant are entrepreneurs and investors, people who have the ability to create businesses or make investments that generate passive cash flow, that is, revenue that keeps coming in regardless of the time they dedicate to daily work. These are the people who seek more than just stability and security. They are in search of freedom, independence, and a life with more purpose. The choices a person makes throughout life are crucial, as they determine where that person will be in the future, whether in 10, 20, or even 30 years. The important point here is that often people do not realize that they have the power to make these choices. They tend to follow the easier path, which is usually seeking the security of a fixed job, without questioning if that path is the best for their personal and financial growth. One of the great traps, according to Kiyosaki, is that many people do not want to take full responsibility for their financial situation. Instead, they prefer to blame external factors, such as the economic system, lack of resources, political situation, or competition. These excuses are a way to avoid the truth, which is that the choices they make themselves are what truly defines their destiny. The reality is that everyone, without exception, has the power to choose their own financial journey. Every decision, every action taken, even the seemingly small ones, contributes to the path that will be followed. So if you find yourself in a job that, although considered secure, causes dissatisfaction, or if you are facing financial difficulties, Kiyosaki emphasizes that it is important to recognize that these situations are the result of your own choices, even not making bolder choices in the past. But more importantly, if you want to change that situation, the power to do so is in your hands. No one else is responsible for your financial destiny, and that is both a great challenge and, at the same time, a great opportunity. Finally, Kiyosaki makes it clear that true wealth is not in the relentless pursuit of security or financial stability, but in the ability to create something lasting, something with a clear purpose that can generate streams of passive income. The difference between people who achieve true financial freedom and those who continue to struggle for an ephemeral stability is often in their mindset. True wealth is linked to the ability to make money work for you instead of your work sustaining your life. And this requires a true shift in mindset where you start to see money not just as something to be earned and spent, but as a tool that can be used to create freedom, to invest in the future, and to generate a life with more options. Kiyosaki teaches us that to achieve financial success and freedom, it is not enough just to have courage and willpower. You must learn to step out of your comfort zone, where easy and predictable solutions keep us in a cycle of mediocrity. You must be willing to challenge your limiting beliefs and adopt new ways of thinking. People who do this, who make smart decisions and take risks wisely, are the ones who stand out. Fear, of course, will never disappear completely. The fear of failure, uncertainty, and change will always be present. But true financial freedom, according to Kiyosaki, lies exactly on the other side of fear. Fear is just a temporary barrier that must be faced and overcome. When you decide to act, even in the face of fear, and move toward your goals, you begin to create a prosperous future that once seemed distant and unattainable. The only way to achieve true prosperity, therefore, is through financial education and courageous action. This means understanding how money works, how it can be invested intelligently, and how you can create a business or make investments that become sources of passive income. As Kiyosaki teaches, it's not just about having money, but knowing how to use it to create freedom and live according to your own values and goals. Financial education is the first step in this change, and the courage to step out of your comfort zone is the fuel that will propel this transformation. As he says, the choice is in your hands. Which side of the quadrant will you choose?